Namaskar and welcome to Indian Diplomacy, show on India's national broadcaster, Doordarshan, about Indian foreign policy, India's international relations, and key concepts and phenomena that are global but have an impact on India's rise. Viewers, this is a special episode where we are doing a deep dive into the concept of global power politics. Power and politics are intrinsically linked, be it domestic politics or international politics. The pursuit of power, the struggle for power, acquisition of power and wielding power over others has always been the central theme of the study of politics. So, how is power play happening today in the global arena? How is it shaping world politics, and what is India's role? Is it up to speed with the games of power that are being played, and whether it can match up to this current global environment? That is the theme of this show. And to talk about this, I have with me 13 outstanding young students from colleges and universities across India. They are here to express their own views on global power politics and India's pivotal role in shaping this. So, folks, welcome to Indian Diplomacy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Great. You know, we often divide power into subcomponents, and there is a well-known division into hard power, soft power, and smart power, which is generally accepted, right? So I want to start with the basic element of hard power, which is primarily military and economic. And let's start with the number one aspect of hard power, which is military. Traditionally, world politics was supposed to be defined primarily by military power and usage of military power and usage of threat of force, and that was seen as the most defining element that makes up the world order or the international systems, right? Now, this era in particular seems to be quite amenable to this idea again, because for a while it looked like military power was losing its salience, especially vis-a-vis economic and soft power. But now, with the wars that are underway and the arms races that are happening, the build-ups, in different regions of the world, they seem to suggest that military power once again seems to be coming to prime position. So I want somebody to come in and talk about hard power, especially military power. Do you think we are returning to the era of military power? And can you give some examples of countries that are using military power to their advantage in today's time to achieve their objectives? Anyone? Yes, please.
Hello, sir. My name is Anushka Singh. I am from Kirorimal College, University of Delhi. Sir, Thucydides once says, "The strong do what they can do, and the weak suffer what they must." In today's geopolitics, we see, despite globalization and interdependence, we see that hard power is once again becoming the core of the world politics. You said about talking about the contemporary examples that we see in today's world, like the Russia-Ukraine war. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is the starkest reminder that hard power can redraw borders and can challenge the global order. Talking about China, in the Indo-Pacific, we see rapid naval militarization, and we see airspace incursions, which shows that Beijing's rely on military coercions. Talking about Middle East conflicts, where we see Hamas-Israel war in Gaza and US-Iran conflicts that show that military action shapes security narratives and influences diplomatic leverages. Talking about North Korea, it do repeated missile tests and nuclear posturing, which uplift the state diplomatically. We see formation of alliances like NATO and the security alliances like AUKUS, which shows that security alliances can be crucial for deterrence. Talking about India's perspective, we can say that India should have a strong military because we are having two hostile neighbors, that is China and Pakistan. India's modernization, border deployments after Galwan 2020, and are showing that India truly focuses on hard power. In today's multipolar world, we see that economy and soft power remain very crucial, but hard power still is one of the ultimate legitimator of sovereignty. Military power may not win hurt, but it ensures the survival in the harsh realities of the global politics.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's a very articulate answer from our friend from Kirurimal College of Delhi University. Because what she's saying is that, there are some harsh realities of the world today, and for survival or for maximizing power or security, military might does matter. And there's probably very little to challenge this argument, because 10 years ago, people thought that military might is like a 19th century or 20th century phenomenon. It doesn't matter, but it's come back in a big way. Deterrence has broken down. Any other thoughts on military power and hard power, and its increasing salience, or the return to hard power? It looks like we are going back to another era. Anyone else would like to come in?
Namaskar, sir. I am Sujal Masalkar from Amravati University, Maharashtra. First of all, to give you context, I want to explain you that power respects power. After World War II, we have seen that no two nations having nuclear weapons have gone in war with each other. There may be proxy wars happening around the world, but we have never seen two nations with nuclear power going or waging war against each other. Then after that, traditionally it is believed in the world that having a military power is having a dominance in the world. But in the mid of 20th century, there emerged the perspective like the use of economic growth and the use of technology and use of soft power. These kind of perspectives emerged in the mid of 20th century. But then after that, if we analyze the current situation, then we can conclude that world is again moving towards the traditional situation which would exist before the 20th century, that everyone is trying to escalate their military powers. But in the current era, the military power has a lot of dimensions. Like the military power is not only a military power which was based on the military like factors like soldiers and weapons and all these things. But nowadays, military factors include especially the economic tactics, in which other countries use trade leverages, and then they try to sanction other countries to gain their economic wishes. And then after that, they also use technology in the warfare, like they use AI based technological drones to strike other countries without any driver inside it.
Thank you for this. Okay, so our friend from Amravati, Maharashtra, is saying that we are going back to 19th, 20th century models of world politics, where military preparedness, war preparedness, or even offensive, defensive, all these things are going to matter more, and it makes you wonder whether there's a cycle, whether it is again going back in one direction. He also mentioned economic coercion, which is of course the other big element of hard power. So I want to go there now and bring in our young friends to talk about economic statecraft, trade wars, tariff barriers, economic sanctions, using currencies to manipulate other countries. These are continuing to grow, and weaponization of economic exchanges is also something that's of a matter of high concern. So I want to bring in someone here who would like to speak about economic aspects of power play, and maybe share a few examples of how economic power, of course, it complements military power and they are not necessarily contradictory to each other. But let's focus for a moment on this aspect of economic power, which people consider to be the foundation for any country to rise to the top. Anyone would like to come in on economic aspects? Yes, please.
My name is Masha. I am an alumni of OP Jindal Global University, Political Science Honours. And I would like to throw some light on economic diplomacy and economic coercion, because I have begun to feel, and I also would like to put on this analysis, that military might has started to get replaced by money might, that is economic coercion. I see a lot of replacement in terms of state leaders and governments shifting to economic sanctions as a way of coercion in place of getting into an arms race, which we used to see during the Cold War era. If I have to place quick examples on the show, I would like to talk about US specifically. We have seen for a very long time US has been placing a lot of sanctions on countries like Venezuela, Russia, Iran. And with regard to India, we see the sanctions that have just come up because of the disagreement of Trump.
Tariff barriers, which
the
they're
tariff
also calling
barriers.
sanctions. Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Because India has been going around independently getting into an oil trade with Russia, which has upsetted Trump. Now, that is one of the core examples of economic diplomacy or economic statecraft. We've been able to observe this over a period of time, that Washington has always taken this as a leverage, because dollar diplomacy and dollar dominance has always been the case in the international arena, which is turning out to be unfortunate for the rest of the world, and especially the global south. And we've begun to see the repercussions, of course. Coming down to our neighborhood, let's talk about China, for example. We have seen this happening over a period of 10 to 20 years, that when we talk about the BRI, that is the Belt and Road Initiative, it has been created in a very strategic manner to actually pretend to help your neighborhood or a country, and in turn you ensure that that the country you're helping out turns into a deeper debt, and you end up buying the nation. Now, how do you buy a country? Is by this initiative, is by the strategy, that you end up providing a fish to a nation so much that the nation doesn't even know how to fish. So it's not the skill development, but more of making the other country, the smaller state, rely so much on a larger state that the balance and bandwagon theory comes into being in this situation. We've seen hub and tota, the China and Sri Lanka relations that got spoiled because of this. India, as a response, has also post-COVID tried to ban 200 plus apps, even including TikTok and a lot of other apps, and getting into an agenda of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is an initiative by the government to actually promote Made in India and Skill India aspects and initiatives, which are actually a step towards economic statecraft building, which is something that as youth I feel should be promoted further ahead.
Right. Thank you. Yours, our friend from OP Jindal Global University is saying that, major powers, big powers, United States, China, she's given two examples, use economic coercion, and they've got a whole range of tools to be able to influence and to dominate countries. So, China has also, adopted export controls and restrictions on rare earth minerals, for example, which is considered to be like a blackmail, economic blackmail. And United States also imposes export controls on advanced semiconductor technology and all that as part of the China-US rivalry. But they also do it to smaller countries, and that's an interesting point. We just heard how smaller countries often face this quote-unquote dollar hegemony. And the Chinese are also trying to push the renminbiization of their own currency to be dominant in the world. There are also middle powers that have influence in certain pockets and certain regions. So economic power is becoming important, although the judgment remains to be seen as to whether it is replacing military power, because we just spoke about how military power is also staging a comeback. And of course, we make these categories as if they are watertight and one is different from the other, but they're all interlinked, right? Without a powerful economy, how can you do a military buildup, right? So they are interlinked, right? Any other thoughts on economic aspects of foreign policy and power politics that is underway around the world? Yes, please.
Hello, sir. Myself Anuj Narode from Siahgad Institute, Pune University, Maharashtra. So I'm here to share some data which my friends already told, but the excess data, the data points which I would like to highlight. So the first is that in the recent years, the military expenses in whole world has increased by 25 to 30%. So that is a very dangerous question mark on world's overall politics. Nextly, talking about the economic coercions. So economic coercions, in that first, as my friend told about the debt trap. So the data about it is that the Sri Lanka, it owed China $8 billion as it was not able to pay it back. So the debt trap, how it framed it was that the Hambantota port in Sri Lanka, it was given on 99 years of lease to China. So that's very concerning for a country like India because it's a national security factor for us. Next, we talk about Pakistan. The same debt trap was applied there as well, wherein Pakistan is in debt of China. Pakistan owed China like 30 to 77 billions of dollars. The figure is not exact, but afterwards, what happened is that Pakistan was forced to give the Gwadar port to China for its asset management and also all the management which China will do on its own. Next, talking about the economic hegemony. So herein the concept of the concept of de-dollarization effect comes into existence. Why Trump is exposing all the countries of BRICS and imposing tariffs on them is because the de-dollarization effect. It is because as BRICS initiative, BRICS is making their new currency other than the SWIFT method. So what happens is the dollars hegemony becomes less, and because of which US will lose its position as a superpower, and that is what Trump is threatening tariffs on all the countries which are involved in BRICS.
Right. Thank you so much. Good examples. So far, we've covered hard power, military and economic. But now I want to go into the soft power realm. There is a view among some that, soft power is incomplete or incapable of achieving the goals without the backing of hard power. Most of the what we call the realpolitik thinkers insist that soft power is nothing but it's just epiphenomenal and behind it is a hard power. But still, there are some countries that are relatively weak in military or economic might but still have soft power. Think of a Bhutan. It has neither military nor economic might, but it still has significant goodwill and attraction in many parts of the world because of their idea of gross national happiness, right? Switzerland doesn't even have a big army or anything. I mean, of course, it's a rich country, but it's not a big economic powerhouse either, right? But still, it has influence as a neutral country which brokers peace between different warring parties and facilitates stability in Europe and elsewhere. So I'm just giving a few examples. So I want some of you to come in and talk about the relevance of soft power when we are saying that hard power really has made a huge comeback, especially military, but also in economic realm, new methods of coercion and statecraft and influence are being attempted. So what is the relevance of soft power in this scenario? And do you think soft power projection by countries is ultimately beneficial to them, or are they actually working under some kind of an illusion? Anyone would like to come in on soft power? Yes, please.
Namaste, sir. Namaste, everybody. This is Pratiksha Prakash from Bangalore University. I graduated from Bangalore University. So when it comes to soft power, I think you very well spoke about how soft power is not credible enough without hard power. It is a sort of a illusion to say that soft power alone can achieve anything. With credible and legitimate hard power comes a good front of soft power. But again, on the other hand, when we see Japan, which does not have a militarization or which has limited militarization constitutionally, they wield a very large-scale soft power throughout the world by their cultural influence, development aid that they provide throughout the world, or the investment projects that they do. That is one primary example that I would like to quote. Secondly, even when it comes to India, today what India has, yes, we are growing militarily, we are growing economically and all of that. But we cannot neglect the part of our diaspora or our cultural influence that is aiding in our soft power influence. One very good example that I would like to quote is not a very recent one, but it is in an elaborated way written in the book India versus UK. A very brief outline about the book is how India took on UK to win a seat in the ICJ as well as the UNCLOS. So two very big seats where we could win, and that was not only that in that incident, we did not only take over the big powers, but also it was because of the smaller nations. We cannot undermine the influence of smaller island nations or small nations in general. And I think that can also be reiterated in the development aids that India provides to African nations or Asian nations. So these ultimately help in the UN. No matter the relevance of UN as of now, that is debatable, but we cannot let go of the fact that UN exists and collectively all the nations are represented in the UN. This proves that soft power cannot be ignored, although military might is necessary, soft power is as much as necessary.
Well,
to win
thank
a
you.
war.
That's a balanced answer from our friend from Bangalore University. He's referring to how goodwill is not necessarily always comes out of having a huge economy or a huge military, but there are other attributes. Although it's interesting, the example of Japan. Japan is a major global economy, right? So to that extent, they have the resources. Even the financial aid they give can be considered as hard power because it comes out of the economic might of Japan. But still, points taken. And in the case of India, we just heard that we are also able to win a lot of votes from global south, not necessarily because we are the biggest donor or because we have the largest military, but because we do things for them, especially in multilateral institutions like G20 or the UN that benefit them. So yes, there can be power even in institutions which is softer and which is not directly linked to economy or military. So foreign policy, you already referred to it, is one. Then there's culture, and then there is political values. These the great Harvard scholar Joseph Nye defined the components of soft power as these three, right? So what can countries do to enhance their soft power? I mean, how do they project it? We have, for example, the ICCR in India, Indian Council for Cultural Relations. Even this television show contributes to enhancing India's soft power. So let's talk a bit about what countries should do. I mean, there is elements of soft power which is inherent and inbuilt. You don't have to do anything, right? But there are elements which need to be strategically developed, nurtured, and projected, right? So what can countries do to enhance soft power, and what is your view of the Indian soft power as it exists? Anyone else would like to come in?
Namaste, sir. I am Akhileshwar from Holkar Science College, Indore. And to your question, how we can enhance our soft power or how it could play a major role in international relations. Sir, in the recent examples, if we can witness that Confucius Institute's influences in Latin American countries, we can also influence our soft power through educational institutes. We can also leverage the critical digital public infrastructure, for example, UPI payments and CoWIN portal, how we distributed vaccines and all. And we can also influence soft power through humanitarian aids and disaster, like we are aiming for net security provided in the Indian Ocean region. Also, I would like to add up upon India's cultural factors in the form of Ayurveda, Bollywood, and in the form of we celebrate World Yoga Day on our influences. Also, it was our push to celebrate International Millet Year in the International Millet Year in 2023. So, though we have to be realistic, we have soft power can be used as a backing channel of hard power. It is not an alternative to hard power. We do have to develop on the lines of hard power, as well as we are the fourth largest military and largest importer as well on that line.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Our friend from Indore is mentioning many examples of what India already does, but what we can also do. Foreign assistance during disasters and crises, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief always also helps enhance soft power. Okay. There is also the concept of smart power, which Joseph Nye himself devised, which is a combination of the two, hard and soft. And he has especially highlighted the importance of narratives and info wars and managing the discourse and shaping global public opinion. So I want someone to come in about smart power. Okay, what is India's smart power, and how are other countries using smart power, and can we leverage this tactic where we use a combination of the two to achieve our national goals and to enhance our status in the world? Yes, please.
My name is Shah Fahad. I'm a graduate of National Institute of Technology, Srinagar.
in today's world of artificial intelligence and social media, algorithm is coming up as a new form of power, which is definitely going to affect our future. How our future is going to be, it's totally going to be dependent on it. We see American hegemony on technology and social media, how we use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. That's everything being done by America. So after seeing this, we can understand how algorithm is becoming a new power, a real power of the 21st century. It affects both soft power and hard power. In the sense, in the soft power, we can use our digital technology for showing Ayurveda, like my friends told, or even yoga, and also soft power for setting the narrative, that for controlling the narrative that the world has about India. We can set our own narrative about how India is, because the narrative of different is totally different than what ours is. And also about the hard power, we can we can use machine learning for surveillance. We can use it for defense.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Our friend from Kashmir is saying that combination works and technology domains need to be mastered, and obviously advanced technologies can have the digital realm, and also it has to do with the hardware. And in both these, combination of these will probably make a country more powerful. What else India could do going forward? Lots of ideas have been thrown around. Yes, please.
Today, 3 Ds are very important: drones, decoy, and diplomacy. First, I would like to highlight the hard power. Since the beginning of ages, people have been fighting because territory is a scarce resource and people will establish their hegemony on the others. Coming to the soft power is where hard power lacks, or to overcome the shortcomings of hard power, people use soft power. The Russia-Ukraine war could have easily ended if it was based on hard power, but the world is a witness that Russia could not conquer a small nation state like Ukraine, even having so much of nuclear power. That is solely on the basis of soft power. Speaking about Operation Sindoor, India displayed a great example of smart power, wherein it not only made precision strikes using the world-class indigenously developed military might, like the Akash missile defense system, and using the other equipments such as the S-400 Sudarshan, the Rafale aircrafts, as well as while displaying its soft power, it sent its various teams in order to advocate for its fight against terrorism.
Thank you so much. Okay, so again, India using a combination of hard and soft power. Interesting example given by a friend from Maharaja Agrasen College. Anyone else would like to come in?
Hello, sir. Hello, everyone. My name is Akshay Srivastav. I'm from Jivaji University, Gwalior. I would like to give a contemporary example talking about smart power of our country, India itself, that how recently the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to SCO summit had led to the joint declaration of the condemnation of the Pahalgam terror attack.
Thank you so much. So viewers, power politics is eternal. It has existed since time immemorial, but what we are facing in the third decade of the 21st century is something we have tried to unpack for all of you. Do think about these different dimensions of power and how India is rising to the challenge that this combative and competitive world order poses to it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time. Until then, take care.